Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to concentrate in one of those new amps from the Boss GT-1000 update. So the amp here in question is the X Ultra, because they mispronounced this and it's wrong. It's the X Ultra actually, and it says here it's inspired by classic British stack amp modified with a modern multi-stage gain circuit. MDP provides intelligent control of the clipping in each stage, realizing extended dynamic response that's not possible with traditional analog design. So when I read the word classic British stack, the only thing that comes to my mind is a Marshall. There's also the X Optima, the X Titan, but today we're going to concentrate. This is a three-part video. This is for the X Ultra, then the X Optima, and then the X Titan. And my kid is screaming, I don't know why. So for me this says Marshall, so I'm going to treat it like that. What I have here in my signal chain for now is just the amp. Everything is at none, as you guys can see. And then I have a nice suppressor, and at the end here on my cab I'm using the 57, normal 57 that mostly is used, and the short and 5 centimeters. Now of course you get very different results by changing this or using IRs, and sometimes much better results than the stock ones. But for now let's say with the simple dynamic 57 and not going into the blend modes, because the magic I think happens here, okay? But just for the sake of it, we want to hear the amp like it comes from the box. Lastly but not least, I have an EQ that might or might not engage with a low cut at 80 Hz and a high cut around 10. So let's go to the amp, and I'm using this vanilla guitar, just has a bridge humbucker, and I'm trying to recreate 4 patches. I think 4 will be enough, like a low gain, mid gain, and heavy gain with effects or in the loud effects. So the sound that we have here right now on the bridge pickup of this guitar is this one. So this is just the amp with nothing special on it, not even reverb. I don't know if this happens to you, but I do hear in my studio monitors a build-up in the low end, which is not bad, but might be unuseful if you're going to play live. There's a lot low end. If you're playing by yourself, just yourself, it's a different thing, okay? I want to try to make sure that on these first patches I'm not going to use any pedal, distortion pedal, overdrive, just the amps to see what we can get. So I think it sounds pretty good for now, just everything at noon. You see the low end is a little bit flubby. There's nothing really tightening up like a Toushscreen or something, but I like that. It kind of reminds me of the Van Halen stuff, you know, where he had like that loose low end. If I drop it here, let's say if it's in tune, let's see, I mean, you know. You know, and it sounds a little bit like him. So for a start, I think it sounds really great. Now we are in drop T. Okay, so let's start to make some adjustments. The first thing I'm going to do for the first patch is actually turn down the gain. And we still have plenty of it, as you guys can see. Now if I turn down the gain here, around 15, the volume will drop. So I'm going to increase the volume here to compensate for it, around 70, probably it's enough. More than enough. Okay, so I want to go for aiming to that tone. Sort of a hedge of breakup tone. But more rock than blues or stuff like that. So I think we have a nice breakup tone here. Okay, now first and foremost I'm going to reduce my low end here, the bass, around 39. And maybe let me increase the mids, see what happens. Now I'm gonna decrease them because Marshalls usually are very up high in the mids, right? Now I'm gonna increase the presence first, around 70. And increase the treble as well, a little bit like the presence. Starting to become a little bit harsh, so treble always gets a little bit harsh, different than presence. And I might have to engage EQ, let's see. Now, going on, let's go into resonance. So you guys already probably know what this does. But it completely clockwise. It takes out all the treble. And increase a little bit the bass. If it's anti-clockwise, exactly the opposite. So it becomes a little thin, but I'm going to take use of that around that. So there's more control on the bass. The sag, if it's totally up, sort of a lot of compression. Let's put it totally anti-clockwise. So you get more trebly tone. I like to put it around +5, a little bit of compression, doesn't hurt. Now I'm going to reduce a little bit the treble because I think it's still too much, probably leave it at noon. By the way, I'm recording this via USB, so the effects I'll be using will be in stereo, and it will sound great because they are in stereo. And most of you probably use this in stereo anyway. Now, I think I'm happy with the tone here. Sort of a nice edge of breakup tone. Put this in E again. And now I'm gonna add some, first I'm gonna engage my EQ to see what happens, cutting 10 kilohertz. It's a very subtle difference because if I put it like there, around 5, you certainly hear the change. And these amps don't go much higher than this, but anyways, let's put it, since it's the first tone, on 10. It gets rid of a little fizziness top end, especially if you have more gain. And the low cut is, I think it's good where it is. So let's add, I'm trying not to add too much also important EQs and stuff like that, only if I need to, okay? Because right now I'm happy with the tone. So I'm gonna just embellish. So let's start with the reverb. We have a plate reverb here by default. Now the time of the reverb and the tone of the reverb really depends on what you're after. It's not default, but it's already low cut at 400 like I like it, and it's around the time that I like it. I'm just going to increase the level because on Boss Effects you realize that you see other units from other companies where the reverbs are really luxurious and stuff like that, and these reverbs are too, but you really have to crank them up to listen to the tone. Okay, now I'm going to increase the density as well, just for the sake of it and lots of time. Of course, this is not practical in any way if you're going to play live. So I'm going to put that around 2.1, and I think reduce also the level. And maybe try to go for a room reverb instead, which is shorter, room 2. Let's go for room 1. It's giving a little bit of more vibrations. Reduce effect level and also the density. Now, of course, you can assign stuff on your control expression pedal, but and there's some stuff here already assigned. And I'm going to put this totally off and totally off because now it's up to you if you want to use like a stereo chorus, a stereo delay. We can go for a stereo delay, that would be okay. Not mono, but a dual delay, because it always sounds great. Dual delays always sound great. And I'm going to aim like for around 400 and then 600-ish. And already have my high cut and low cut like I like it. I mean, the high cut, probably 10 here. And now I'm going to put this in, one of them in analog and the other one in tape. So this is just a basic tone, nothing special going into it, just your clean tone of your Marshall amp with some added effects. So no special EQs, no special mastering, turn down the volume, and I'm gonna write this as always come with brilliant names, X Ultra, edge of breakup won't fit, so just edge. Now it takes its time to write, as you guys know, could be a little bit faster. And now, what I'm gonna do is duplicate this tone into the next slot. Let's call it drive for now, because I can't recall anything better than that. And the first thing I'm going to do is disengage my master delay, and now I'm going to the amp, just put it in middle. So first let's put it in low like it was before. Let's go to middle. Okay, increase in volume, we have to back this up. Back this up, back this down. That even exists. And increase our gain around 30, see how it sounds. Always, this should have like a function of auto gain, that would be great. Let me drop here this, and now we are listening to more fizziness on the top end. Okay, now this is too much reverb, I don't want that. I want just very, very, very little reverb. Because, you know, I'm going to use this as a rhythm guitar. And just a little tiny bit of reverb will give it room enough. Okay, let's go to our amp and give it a little more drive, around 40. Oh, maybe just put it up there in the middle, if we can go there. Okay. Now it's louder, so I'm going to put it a little bit down here. Okay, a bit louder. To try to make them all the same level. I wouldn't touch anything here really. I'm gonna just increase the presence to see how it sounds. This is a good way if you want to hear the harshness. Just play like staccato on the higher strings. It's not tuned in E. So this is very natural to have this kind of fizziness. If you guys really actually try the Marshall at high volume, you're gonna probably turn the treble all the way down because it has a lot of high gain, I mean highs on it. If I disengage this EQ right now, it becomes even a little bit more apparent. So I'm gonna engage it again. So nothing fancy, just another tone that you probably use from edge to drive, you know, so you can fill up in your band. Once again, you have all the possibilities of turning on stuff that you want depending on your band. I'm not going to do that because everyone has their needs, different needs. For me, this would be kind of cool just to play the chords on top of my band. unless you're gonna go for, I don't know, lots of effects and stuff like that. But I want to have a simple tone that works, cuts through the mix, and it's simple. And I do like this little bit of a flubby low bass. Happy with the tone. Let's just write it. I'm gonna follow this path where I'm going to duplicate each time and change little things so we have 4 different tones. So now I have to write it again for the next patch, and I'm gonna write it on the bank number 4. And this will be, I don't know, high gain. Let's go for a high gain now. Okay, it fits. And just wait for it to write. Could be a little bit faster, like I said before. And the first thing I'm going to do is going to R amp and max out the gain. Now let's see that there's a very high increase in volume. Not necessarily. And now you have much more gain. Of course, now comes the question, if you want your tone to be ultra defined, you know, when you're palm muting, nothing like having an overdrive. I'm going to just try it out just to demo it like a Toushscreamer and try to put these values at 0, not 0 but around 50 here, and just engage it. Now more distortion, but you'll have your low end tighten up. And even now you can have some more bass because you can control it. Sounds great, but I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. Just more gain on the amp. Going back to the amp, gonna reduce again my bass. I don't want too much bass, so it can cut through the mix. And I think it's okay like this. Maybe the resonance, I'm gonna open it a little bit more. So we're looking like an old Marshall, very saturated and with all its nuances. And not too much EQ and stuff like that. So this will be the high gain. I think I'm happy with this one as well. Perfectly usable patches as they are. And don't forget that we are using the Dynamic 57 microphone. Just a high cut here and a low cut and nothing more, basically. Because if I'm going to change microphones and stuff like that, we'll be here for more than 1 hour. Try to get, so I'm going to call this lead, try to get all these tones that I can do after and create those patches if you guys want me to for these 4 different amps, like having a hedge, drive, high gain lead, but much more scope, okay? Now, on the lead, now I'm going to engage because we can only go so far. First, I'm going to try out by increasing the gain, max it out. So volume first, it will probably increase. Not too much, but you know, now we're going to have to start to have some problems with noise, you know. And this is way too much distortion, you know. Maybe even for a solo, because it's starting to compress the tone in a way that it's not very well defined, you know. So let's back it out around 80 to see what happens. For me, this would be kind of enough to my solo. I think it's cool. But maybe I'll change something here. Let's go and engage our effects for a solo tone. So I'm gonna add now plate reverb with 2.5 milliseconds and increase effect level because I want it to be much more, reduce a little bit the tone. I don't want it to be so bright, although it's already here. And low damp, high damp, well, I'm not going to touch that. I will touch probably here, duck pre-bath. No, I'm going to leave it as it is. I think it's better. And it's a little bit still too much. It's well defined, although it's too much distortion. I think it's cool. Now I have my noise suppressor too high, probably for you guys, because I have a lot of noises here, extra noises, so it's normal. Now I'm going to my master delay, going to increase it, engage it, and I'm going to increase here also the effect level and the feedback. Yeah, I'm going to put this in tape because you can barely hear it. Now it's giving our pan delays. Typical user mistakes because I'm not warmed up. But here, let me take a little bit down treble. And just since it is a solo and just using the amp, not another EQ, increase a little bit the mid so it can stand out from the mix. There's this build up in the low end, and we don't need much low end right now. We're going to increase the mids once again. I don't know, there's always this thing with the camera when it's on and it's rec. I always make much more mistakes than I would usually do, even talking. Just, you know, you get nervous in front of a camera. I'm sorry guys, but I can't help it, really. Okay, so I think this sounds great and I'm gonna write it as is. And now after this, I'm going to create here on my library a new a new, you know what, live set. I'm gonna call it X Ultra. It has 4 patches, and now you have to, you know, like doing this in order to get them all. And I'm gonna do this off camera so you guys don't stay here looking at me. I'm gonna put the download link below the video, and please try them out. Let me know if they sound good to you or not. Try them out as they are, you know. If you're going to use them, don't forget about that. If you're going to use them in front of an amp, I mean, send a return or power amp in of your Katana, please disengage the cap sim or it will sound like shit. And if not, try it out just with 57 and see, let me know if it sounds good. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. 4 free patches. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything and it helps me a lot because most of you guys that watch my channel are not subscribed, and I wish I had more so I could make a living here, okay? Many thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.